Slocky get started in a hot second. Right. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barak Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Lathan by Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karan Yala, the ISUBK. And this is Tuesday night Brotherhood class for the ISUBK Sacramento page, or Salakia. Recently renamed the Sacramento Israelite page, which is another ISUBK outlet. So today, we're going to get into not trusting your enemy, right? If you don't know, the so-called Caucasian man is your enemy, Israel. The Asian man is your enemy. The East Indian man is your enemy. Tongans, Samoans, Polynesians, and generals, these are your enemies. The Africans, they are your enemies. Everybody that's on planet Earth that's not an Israelite is the enemy to Israel. Thus saith the Lord, right? And today we're gonna get into a couple of stories, Salakia, a couple of written records in these scriptures about the children of Israel actually trusting our enemies and we reaping the benefits of slavery, poverty, oppression, right? Reaping the benefits of being up under the foot of our so-called friends, right? Now, here in America, Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have been brainwashed into believing that we can all come together with the rest of these nations, which that's so far from the truth, right? These other nations, they only want to befriend you because they understand that they can make money off of you. They can come up off of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? You got Asians that live in our community sometimes, and they befriend you because you dress nice, right? They can get some swag and some pointers from you. They can get a ghetto pass, so to speak, right? Here in California, a lot of these heathens they get the N-word pass just because they grow up around black people, and black people actually think that these people care about them, which is the furthest thing from the truth, right? So tonight we're gonna get into the scriptures, of course, right? And we're gonna get into a couple of times throughout history where blacks, Latinos, and natives trusted our enemies, and our enemies destroyed us. And the Lord allowed them to destroy us for trusting in our enemies, right? I'm gonna pull my first scripture. We're gonna get Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, chapter 12 and verse 10. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, right? The Lord said, don't never trust your enemy, right? He didn't say, come together with Asians and in wake of stop Asian hate. He didn't tell you to come together with Asians and you sit up here and sympathize with what's going on against these Asian people. The Lord said, don't never trust our enemies, right? And the enemies of the children of Israel, like it ain't hard to figure out who your enemy is. Your enemy is going to slaughter you. Your enemy is going to destroy you. Your enemy is going to rape, rob, murder, and pillage your community, right? And that's what's going on with these Asians. Not just them, but Esau being at the forefront of us being destroyed by our enemy and allowing these other nations to actually come over here and benefit off of us, right? Look at the Asians. They own hair salons, right? I mean, Slocky, not hair salons. They own beauty supply stores in our neighborhood. Meanwhile, our sisters is going into these beauty supplies, which is a $1 billion industry, right? And they still getting beat up by these goddamn heathens, right? They getting mishandled and mistreated by these goddamn heathens, and the prices is astronomical, right? If you knew what they paid for this weave that they selling our sisters, they making 200 and 300% profit off of what they selling our people, right? Look at the East Indians. The East Indians, these is the people that's selling us gas at high prices, right? They then took over a crispy fried chicken, which was created by black people. They move over here, take over an industry that was created by our people because your oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of, allowed them to come over here and flourish in this community, and they benefit off of you buying chicken at their gas stations, right? Meanwhile, this recipe for this chicken, I ain't gonna lie, man, that crispy fried chicken is good as hell. I believe that they stole that from somebody's grandma, right? Or KFC, the Colonel had another secret recipe that these damn Caucasians then allowed these East Indians to come over here and use that secret recipe in order for them to open up these chicken joints in our neighborhoods and the gas stations that we frequent, so your oppressor can make more money off of you. You understand? What about these Arabs? They selling you tobacco in your community. They selling you excessive liquor in your community, right? Not only is they doing that, it's a lot of these Arabs that own these stores that's actually having sex with black women for money. They destroying us, right? These sisters is having children by these goddamn heathens and being left in the ghetto with a half Arab baby. And this is all too common, especially where I'm from in Oakland. Man, the promiscuous sisters in the neighborhood. You wonder why she keep going behind that damn counter and they looking at you funny every time you walk in the store. But every time she go behind that counter, she getting a free bottle, right? She getting some free blunts. That's because our enemies understand that we are destroyed and they using us for their benefit, right? I'm gonna read that again. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, right? The Lord said, don't ever trust your enemy. And you would be a fool to trust your enemy, right? Reading on, middle of verse 10. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Iron is going to rust, right? It's inevitable, right? It's going to rust eventually one day. And so is the wickedness of your enemy against you. You are going to see that one day if you trust in your enemy. If you befriend a Caucasian man, that Caucasian man is going to accuse you of stealing from him, right? If you deal with a Caucasian woman, she's eventually going to lie on you and say you beat her and raped her. Look at all of these NFL and NBA players that go through hell dealing with these damn heathen women, right? They in court every week, seems like now, right? And what do they get at the end of the stick? At the end of them dealing with their oppressor? Heartache, poverty, trauma, you know what I'm saying? Loss of millions of dollars, contracts that they can never get back because they trusted their enemy. And like the iron rust, they seen that wickedness in the end, right? Look at our Native American brothers and sisters, right? This so-called Caucasian man broke so many treaties, it's ridiculous, right? If you look up all the treaties that the oppressor broke, you would think, damn, this can't be true. Like somebody got to be trying to rewrite history. Nah, but it's actually true, right? This is why in the ISUPK up under Commander General Hunter, we call the oppressor, the so-called Caucasian man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, because he deceived the world into thinking that he was a cool individual. That's why the Lord telling us, don't trust your enemy. Iron is going to rust, right? And so will your enemy's wickedness against you come out to the light, right? You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna drop that. Let's get into a couple of these stories, right? If y'all could, Baba Kashan, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. It's very important because we're trying to push this truth out. We need these classes to be shared all over the planet Earth, right? So blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans can actually know that there is a group of people that actually care about them. So they can know Commander General Yohana and the brothers up under him in the ISUBK actually risk their life by speaking unpopular facts to the masses in order for our people to wake up and understand that we are not to be oppressed. We are not to be following after these goddamn heathens. We need to push this truth out so our people can understand that us loving these other nations is the reason why we are in captivity today. All right. Let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 10. All right. Salakia. Like I said, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Show your mama this, show your daddy this. Show your Christian pastor this. So he can know that the Lord is on to what he's doing by doing our people a disservice by lying to us and telling us that everything is going to be all right and Christ loves everybody, which is a goddamn lie, right? This is the book of Judges, chapter 10, and verse 1. And after Abimelech there arose to defend Israel, Tola, the son of Pua, the son of Dodo, a man of Issachar, and he dwelt in Shamir in Mount Ephraim, right? Verse 2. And he judged Israel 23 years and died and was buried in Shamir, right? So now you have Abimelech, which was a man of the Lord. This was a righteous judge, right? So he defended the children of Israel against these goddamn heathens, right? He defended the children of Israel against our enemies, right? Verse 2, once again, and he judged Israel, Salakia, and he judged Israel 23 years and died and was buried in Shamar. So he was a judge over the children of Israel. This was before we had kings, right? This is when we had judges, right? Verse 3, and after him arose Jair, a Gileadite, and judged 22 years. So like, and judged Israel 22 years. And he had 30 sons that rode on 30 ass colts, and they had 30 cities, which are called Havath Jair unto this day, which are in the land of Gilead. So after him, another brother arose up to be a judge, right? Named Jair, which was from the land of Gilead, right? That's why he's called a Gileadite, all right? This is the land that he lived in the land of Israel, right? And it says, he had 30 sons that rode on 30 ass colts. So he had 30 sons that had 30 horses, right? And they had 30 cities, which are called Havath Jair unto this day, which are in the land of Gilead, right? And Jair died and was buried in Cameron, right? So Jair, right? It doesn't say that he did anything wicked, so we just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he actually kept the law, statutes, and commandments, and he followed the judges before him, right? Verse 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Baalim and Asheroth and the gods of Syria and the gods of Zidon and the gods of Moab and the gods of the children of Ammon and the gods of the Philistine, and forsook the Lord and served not him. So after this brother Jair died, the children of Israel, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we start following the rest of these gods that these other heathens did, right? And I'm gonna read that one once again. The God, Salakia, the gods of Zidon, Salakia, and the gods of Syria, right? These Syrians is your so-called Persians today, right? And Zidon, those is Hamites, right? And the gods of Moab, right? Moab is the forefather of the Japanese people, right? And the gods of the children of Ammon, right? Those are the forefather. So like Moab is the father of the Chinese people, right? And Ammon is the father of the Japanese people. And the gods of the Philistines, right? Which are Hamites, right? These is Canaanites. And forsook the Lord and served not him, right? Now, I'm gonna come back to this, right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 3, right? It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them, thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Now, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? The Lord called us a stiff necked people over time in this Bible, right? And the reason why is because we seen the customs of these heathens. Not only did we see the customs of these heathens, but we seen the other children of these heathens and wanted to have sex with them, wanted to get married with them. And in turn, us making marriages with these goddamn heathens, we start following their gods. This is why you read about the mixed multitude of the children of Israel that had to be separated. We had brothers and sisters that was born of heathen women that didn't even know how to speak the Lashawan Kodash. We had brothers and sisters that was born of these heathens that didn't keep the laws of sacrifice. They did exactly what their mother side of the family did. You understand? Right? Salagia. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images. Verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Lord don't want us dealing with these heathens, right? The Lord don't want blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to be marrying these Japanese, these Chinese people, right? These so-called Africans, right? As we reading in the book of Judges, the 10th chapter, our people did exactly the opposite of what the Lord wanted us to do. And in turn, we started following their gods. We started eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster and smoking weed and all of the stuff that we do today, following the gods and the religions of these other nations, right? This ain't nothing new. We've been doing this, right? The children of Israel been a hard-headed and stiff-necked people, thus saith the Lord, because of the actions that we have done in the past, right? So I'm jumping back to Judges, the 10th chapter. I'm gonna read verse 6 again. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord and served not him. Right. So after Jair died, the children of Israel started dealing with these other nations, and in turn, with us dealing with these other nations, as far as us making marriages with them, in turn, we start following their gods, right? We start following after the customs of these goddamn heathens. And we're going to see exactly what happened to the children of Israel because we trusted in our enemies, right? Remember, a quick sidebar, Shechem, which was a heathen, a Philistine, a Canaanite, right? Shechem was responsible for raping Dinah, which was the sister of the patriarchs of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Like this nasty, filthy heathen actually raped our Ford sister, right? Because they understand that they are our enemy, right? You don't rape somebody's sister, right? And that's your friend, right? Let alone like we a whole different nation from them. When you do something wrong to another nation of people that's not your own nation, that's not just you doing wrong to one person. That is an act of war. And our enemies have time and time represented that they are enemies to us by committing acts of wars against us, right? So let's keep going. Judges 10:7. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines and into the hands of the children of Israel. Now, when you look at that, The scriptures say the Lord anger was hot against us, right? You ever heard a black man speaking and he mad about something? And he like, man, they got me hot, bro. I'm Superman. I'm hot right now. This is how black men talk. You understand? The Lord is a nigga. Excuse my French, but the Lord has the same spirit that's in every black man in the ghetto. I'm gonna read that again. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold him into the hands of the Philistines. Into the hands of who? The Philistines. Why? Because these Philistines was the same people that we started making covenants with and marriages with, and we started following after their gods. So in turn, the Lord made us their slaves, right? The Lord look at it like this. Oh, y'all want to be like them? Well, I'm gonna make y'all serve them. I'm going to make them oppress you. I'm going like you don't want me to be your God. The Philistines are going to be your God now. The Philistines are going to be the lords over you, and they are your enemies. So they don't give a damn about you. So you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to serve them with rigor. They gonna oppress you. They gonna rape, rob, and murder you, so you can get the point that you shouldn't be like these goddamn heathens. I am the Lord your God and none else, and I have chosen you to be a holy and special people unto me. That's a slap in the face for the children of Israel to indulge in Christianity, for us to be smoking weed, for us to be in gangs, for us to be selling drugs. All of these are worshiping the gods of these other nations, whether you like it, know it, believe it, understand it, or not. You understand? If you celebrate Christmas, you are literally worshiping Nimrod, right? If you celebrate Halloween or Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving, you are literally worshiping the God of these other heathens, right? Reading on. And into the hands of the children of Ammon. That's another God that we was indulging in with. The children of Ammon, following their customs, letting our children pass through the fire, killing our babies in hopes for a better life, right? Same thing that the Philistines did, right? We did exactly what the Africans and the Asians did, right? And the Lord delivered us into their hands because he was mad with us. To say his anger was hot against us, meaning like he's super extremely mad with the children of Israel, right? Reading on, verse 8. And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel 18 years. All the children of Israel that were on the other side of Jordan in the land of the Amorites, which is in Gilead. So the children of Israel that lived in this particular place, we they vexed us. They oppressed us. I'm gonna read that again. Verse 8. And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel for 18 years. 18 years, all the children of Israel that were on the other side, Jordan, in the land of the Amorites, which is in Gilead, right? They oppressed us. Oppression is when you keep certain people in a low state to where they can't rise up and actually be they can't live up to the full potential that the Lord actually created them for, right? Oppression is you live in the ghetto. Oppression is just drugs in your community. Oppression is certain programs and crafty counsels committed against you to keep you in a destroyed, docile state, to keep you on food stamps, to keep you on welfare, to keep you killing your brother because you don't know why you poor and you don't understand that your oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's oppression, right? And to be vexed is to be mad. Of course, you're going to be mad when you're being oppressed, right? The scriptures say oppression maketh a wise man mad. When you know you're being oppressed by these goddamn heathens, then it's going to vex your spirit. It's going to vex your spirit so much that a lot of our brothers and sisters actually go to drastic measures in this empire that we live in today, with trying to shoot it out with the police, right? Aborting a baby because they feel like they can't live a prosperous life without giving life to this baby. This baby is going to keep them stagnated and keep them in a oppressed state of mind because you got another mouth to feed. This is how the children of Israel think when we are oppressed by these damn heathens, right? Verse 9. Moreover, the children of Ammon passed over Jordan to fight also against Judah and against Benjamin and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel was sore distressed. Not only did they fight these tribes, they went over the land of Jordan, over the river Jordan, and went to go fight against more of our brothers and sisters, right? Some more tribes that they went to go oppress. Verse 10. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying, we have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God and also served Baalim. Now, when we being oppressed and beat down, right? This is the same spirit that you see brothers in when they go to jail and they know they're facing a whole lot of time. And now brothers want to start reading the Bible and going to church and actually praying to God. But meanwhile, when you was out on the streets doing all manner of evil, you wasn't seeking the Lord, right? We don't sit back and look to the Lord when everything is going good for us, even though we doing wicked, right? It's when the shit hit the fan, Salakia for my language. It's when the SHIT hits the fan, when the children of Israel want to come looking for the Lord and asking to be delivered from heartache, pain, poverty, destruction, right? Verse 11. And the Lord said unto the children of Israel, did not I deliver you from the Egyptians and from the Amorites, from the children of Ammon and from the Philistines? Now the Lord questioning the children of Israel. He like, ain't I the one that saved y'all out of captivity plenty of times? Am I not the one that brought y'all out of Egypt? Am I not the one that delivered you out of these hands of these Philistines and these Ammonites? I'm him, right? Right? This is just like on planet Earth. If you do something evil against your father on planet Earth, right? Your physical father, I mean, right? And something bad happens to you. Like I'm gonna give an example from personal experience, right? So when I was in the world, I was a real knucklehead. You understand? And I've been in institutions plenty of times, right? And every time before I even get to the institution, my pops would be like, "Man, look, you need to slow down. You're going about life in the wrong manner and direction, and you're gonna end up in prison, right?" And boy, was he right. You're gonna end up in jail, facing a whole lot of time, right? And fighting for your life damn there. And boy, was pops right. And then when I'm on the phone talking to him, trying to get some money put on my books and all this type of stuff, I'm damn near pleading with Pops, like, man, yeah, when I get up out of here, man, I'm gonna do right this time, man. I know I messed up this time, Pops, and I know you was right, but at the same time, no, I need you right now. This is how the children of Israel get at God when we going through hell, when we going through heartache and pain, right? Reading on. Verse 12, the Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Maonites did oppress you, and ye cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hand, right? The Lord said, not only did these nations oppress you, but some other nations was oppressing y'all. And when y'all cried to me, I hearkened unto the cries that y'all gave to me, and I delivered you out of their hand, right? Now, y'all back again in captivity and being oppressed by these damn heathens. Y'all calling on me again. I done delivered y'all a whole bunch of times. Right? Reading on. Yet ye forsake me and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Look at that. This is how a father works. A father looks at you like, man, look, I saved you plenty of times. I spared you plenty of times. All of these heathens came up against you, right? And I kept them off y'all backs. But you still want to go serve they gods. Now I'm not finna deliver y'all. Like all that sighing and crying, I don't want to hear that. That's what the Lord is saying to us. You understand? He's saying, look, I've been looking out for y'all. I brought y'all out of captivity in Egypt. I kept these other heathens off y'all back. Now, I'm not going to deliver y'all because y'all some hard-headed, stiff-necked people. You understand? You know the saying, a hard head makes a soft ass. Well, that's what the Lord is saying to the children of Israel. I ain't going to deliver y'all. You're going to have to learn your lesson, right? Verse 14. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. Man, look how the Lord get at us. The Lord is a man of war, right? Christ had the same spirit as the heavenly Father. Christ wasn't no soft, docile type nigga, and neither is God. Like the Christians, man, Christians be killing me so much when they tell you, oh, the Lord loves everybody. The Lord is about God. Well, what about the flood? What about him killing the whole goddamn planet Earth? What about the children of Israel going against the law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord had given to us for us to be a special and holy people unto himself? Right? What about us going against our covenant that the Lord made with us? What about that? God loves everybody. Why does the Lord send the children of Israel into captivity to be slaughtered, murdered? You understand? Spoiled and pillaged if God loves everybody. Because God don't love everybody. But Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah, the Lord does love the children of Israel. This is why he chastised the children of Israel. You're not gonna go, oh Salakia, oh yeah, Most High Christ, the water, sir. You're not man, Most High Christ. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 7. All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 11, and verse 7. Uh, and as they departed, Jesus began to speak unto the multitudes concerning John. What went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare the way, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Right? The children of Israel have always had prophets, priests and prophets, right? To show you which way you're supposed to go. You understand? Right? But these Christians, they telling you that God loves everybody and all of this BS, right? Salaki. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater prophet than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he, right? And the reason why Christ said John the Baptist is going to be least in the kingdom of heaven is because John the Baptist had the spirit of your Christian pastor. He had the spirit of actually going against what Christ laid out to us. He had the spirit of going against the prophets that the Lord ordained for us to be taught by, for us to live by the laws of God, right? And this essentially is the same spirit of the children of Israel when we want to go and deal with these other heathens and these other nations, right? Christ was not dealing with the rest of these other nations, right? He didn't even bless that the Caucasian broad, right? Until she actually sat back and bowed down to the children of Israel, right? These people have to bow down to the children of Israel. It's not the other way around, right? And your Christian pastor, in turn, is teaching you how to bow down to these other nations by telling you that you need to come together with these nations and everybody can live in perfect harmony. When I'm reading to you in Judges, the 10th chapter, that when we come together in perfect harmony with these other nations and start dealing with them and dealing with their teachings and dealing with their customs, we become slaves to these other nations and the Lord delivers us into their hands. You understand? But Salakia, Where was I at? Verse 15. And the children of Israel said unto the Lord, we have sinned. Do thou unto us whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Deliver us only, we pray thee this day. So us, the children of Israel, we like, man, look, we understand that we effed up. We understand that we sinned. Do whatever the hell you want to do with us by the hands of these heathens or whatever. But please just deliver us from this heartache and this pain that we dealing with. We asking for forgiveness once again. The Lord ain't going to keep forgiving the children of Israel. I mean, of course, eventually he's going to forgive the children of Israel. But at the same time, a father is this. A righteous and loving father is somebody that's going to chastise you for the wrongdoing that you have done against his word, right? And that's what happens to the children of Israel. We disobey the Lord, we go into captivity with these other nations that we disobey the Lord with, right? Verse 16. And they put away the strange gods from among them and served the Lord. And his soul was grieved for the misery of Israel. Would you look at that? Soon as we come back to the law, statutes, and commandments that we supposed to live by, soon as we come back to our culture, soon as we get to wearing mitris, headpieces, right? Honoring the Sabbath, going to the ISUBK Passover, following the Day of Atonement, right? Stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Stop being a whore. Stop being a goddamn homosexual, right? Stop smoking weed and getting high and being a drug dealer. Soon as we do all of these things, the Lord, I'm going to read that again. It says, and his soul was grieved for the misery of Israel. You know what it means for the Lord for his soul to be grieved of the misery of Israel? The Lord is going to put a hurting and a beating on these goddamn nations that did everything up under the sun to the children of Israel in the time of our calamity. That's a father. A father is going to come to your rescue and chastise whoever the hell chastise you, right? But Christian pastors don't understand that. They don't give a damn. They getting money, right? Creflo Dollar got $1 million jets. TD Jakes, Geno Jennings. These Negroes got large followings. Meanwhile, they leading the rest of our people in captivity. They leading the rest of our people into destruction up under these goddamn nations. Look what's going on in the Christian church. The Christian church tells you you need to forgive your enemy, right? They know goddamn well that Caucasian man is our enemy. They know damn well that we went into slavery at the hands of these so-called Caucasians, right? These oppressors, right? But they telling you to forgive your enemy. Why are they telling you to forgive your enemy? Because your enemy is paying him money. Your enemy funded all them gay suits, right? Them alligators. Your enemy funded that Christian pastor in Brooklyn's $1 million worth of jewelry that brothers ran in that church and took off his neck at gunpoint. Your enemy is funding all of this. This is why this is why your Christian pastor don't see nothing wrong with you coming together with Caucasians, right? They envy the Caucasian man. They want his money and they want to sleep with his nasty God-forsaken daughter, right? Salakia. Verse 17. Then the children of Ammon were gathered together and camped in Gilead, and the children of Israel assembled themselves together and encamped in Mizpah. And the people and princes of Gilead said one to another, what man is he that will begin to fight against the children of Israel? He shall be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. So I'm gonna drop that, but y'all get the point. You know what I'm saying? We trust in these other nations. You become slaves to these other nations, right? You want to worship Buddha? Well, the goddamn Asian is going to be your goddamn landlord. He's going to be the person that you have to pay money to get exactly what you want, right? You trust in white Jesus, you're gonna die with a white police officer's foot on your neck, right? You gonna perish because these other nations are going to murder you and slaughter you because you are their property and possession now, and it's meat for you, right? It's good for you because the Lord ordained these people to be over you because this is who you want to serve. You don't want to serve the Lord. You don't want to come into the ISUBK up under Commander General Yana and wear these funny head pieces that we got on, right? Being decency and in order and stop smoking weed and dealing with prostitutes and getting off of drugs. You don't want to stop being a drunkard in the middle of the street and all of these lusts and this ideology of you being happy in America. This comes from the Caucasian man, right? So the fact that you want to keep living like a Caucasian, the Caucasian is going to be the slave master over you, and he's going to murder you, right? He's going to rape your child, right? Or he's going to have one of these homosexual Christian pastors rape your child in these churches because your homosexual Christian pastor wants to be like the slave master, just like you, right? You got sisters that want to be like Marilyn Monroe and a pinup girl and wanting to be wanting to have OnlyFans and having hot girl summers. Well, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna die from monkeypox, right? Because this is a disease that the Lord is giving to people that He don't like. So since you want to be like the people that the Lord does not like, then you're gonna suffer at proportionate rates. Like Commander General Yana just brought out yesterday on Black Watch. Make sure y'all go watch that on Black Watch News YouTube channel. He just brought out yesterday that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are suffering from monkeypox more than everybody. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta really understand, dear children of Israel, that the Lord is showing you that He does not like the lifestyle that you live in this empire, right? Look at what's going on with us. We number one in all manner of madness. We number one in being murdered by racist police officers. Report just came out, nigga. We number one in monkeypox. Good night. Monkeypox is fairly new, but we number one in that. Why? Because we trusted in our enemies. We wanted to be just like them, right? Like it. Let's go to the book of Second Kings. All right. Let's find some more big head Negroes that understand, right? That understand that they can live like these damn heathens and the Lord is not going to do anything to them. This is the book of Second Kings, chapter 16. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord, his God, like David his father, right? So, in the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to rule, right? So Ahaz began to be the king over the children of Judah, right? And this is coming after the children of Israel had a civil war, and we split the kingdom, southern kingdom and northern kingdom, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah, right? Verse 3. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. Now, King Ahab made his son pass through the fire, right? He literally sacrificed his son in fire in hopes of a better life because this was the custom of a heathen nation that he lived round about. I believe this was the Philistines. Yeah, I believe the Philistines, and all of this comes from Babylon, from Nimrod. Like all of these gods, if you look back into the history of all of these gods, that the world worship over the years, Babylon, everything leads back to Babylon. Even the Roman and Greek gods, all of these BS gods lead back to Babylon, right? Uh, Nimrod, who was basically a first king over planet Earth during his time, um, after the flood, right? Reading on. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in high places and on the hills and every green tree. So when he sacrificed and burnt incense in these high places, he's doing this after the manner of these heathens, right? Because this is how the heathens get in, right? The customs of the heathens, this is what he was fond of, right? He had already killed his goddamn son, right? In the same manner of these heathens by making him pass through this fire, basically giving his own flesh and blood child as a burnt sacrifice unto a god that doesn't mean a goddamn thing, right? Verse 5. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. Now, the king of Syria, right, as well as the king of Israel, came up against Ahab, who was the king of Judah. Now, once again, like I said, we got a split in the kingdom at this time. So the children, the kingdom of Israel is the northern kingdom, right? Uh, 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 so-called so-called Latinos and Native Americans inhabited the Northern Kingdom, which like it. Their capital was a city called Samaria, right? And they hooked up with a Syrian king to come fight against their goddamn brothers, to come fight against the children of Judah, which is in the Northern Kingdom, which consists of Haitians, Jamaicans, all the brothers and sisters from the transatlantic slave trade on the Caribbean islands and the so-called North American Negroes, right? So you got the king of Israel coming together with the Assyrians. I mean, it's like not the Assyrians, with the king of Syria, right? Because Assyria and Syria is two different kingdoms, right? So you got the northern kingdom getting together with the Syrians to come fight against the southern kingdom, right? So you got the northern kingdom trusting in these goddamn heathens, right? And let's see what happens, right? And I'm gonna read verse 5 again, 2 Kings chapter 16 and verse 5. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. So they came up against King Ahaz, but they could not overcome him, meaning they couldn't conquer his kingdom, right? Verse 7. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rise up against me. Now, not only did the king of Israel make a covenant or a league with the king of Syria, Ahaz being a king of the southern kingdom, right? Being a king of Judah, he made a league with the Assyrians, right? Like, man, look, come help me fight against them, right? They then teamed up against me, and I need your help to fight against them. This is another piece of our kingdom trusting in these goddamn enemies, right? So you got the northern kingdom, right, which is called the kingdom of Israel, trusting the Syrian army, right? Then you have the southern kingdom of Israel trusting in the Assyrian army, right? Verse 8. And Ahaz took the silver and the gold that was found in the house of the Lord in the treasures of the king's house and sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. So this Negro, not only did he write to him by letters, right, that he need help to fight against his brothers and a heathen nation, he also paid him for it, right? And it says he took this treasure out of the Lord's house. Like, you know how evil that is for you to pay another nation to help you fight against your brother in another nation with the money that's in the Lord's house? Man, that's evil and wicked as hell, right? That's so goddamn evil. Like we taking what the Lord has given us to pay these heathens to help us fight against our brothers in another heathen nation, right? Like, where was I at? Verse 9. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin, right? So this king of Assyria, he went up and he listened to Ahaz, right? And he ain't just listened to Ahaz because Ahaz was a good friend to him and they was cool with each other. Hell no. He listened to Ahaz because Ahaz paid him. Ahaz gave him some money, right? So what he did was he went up against the Syrians, right? He went up to Damascus and took that goddamn city, right? And slew the king Rezin, right? Verse 10. And King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath, Tiglath Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it according to all the workmanship thereof. Right. So when this Assyrian king, right? When this Assyrian king took Damascus, right? King Ahaz went up there to go meet him and thank him and probably pay him and all of that type of stuff, right? And when he went up there, he seen an altar, right? Now, this is not an altar of our people. This is an altar of the heathen, right? I'll read that one more time. And King Ahaz sent Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it according to all the workmanship. So when Ahaz seen this altar, he sent to his high priest, and look, they got this altar. It's built like this. It's built like that. Check this out, right? Verse 11. And Urijah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent him from Damascus. So Urijah the priest made it against Salaki. So Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz, came to Damascus, right? So he sent what this altar looked like after the ordinance of these heathens to his priest, and he summoned this priest to make this altar, right? To basically copy after the customs of these goddamn heathens, all right? Verse 12. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached the altar and offered thereon. So when he approached his altar after he came from Damascus, he seen the work that he sent to Urijah to Salakia, to replicate this altar, just like these heathens. So when he came back, he seen this altar and started offering burnt sacrifices on this altar in the manner of these goddamn heathens, right? With the altar that's a replication of what they do, right? And he burnt offerings and his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings upon the altar. And he brought also the brazen altar, which was before the Lord from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar. Verse 15. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah, the priest, saying, upon the great altar, burn the morning burnt offering, and the evening meat offering, and the king's burnt sacrifice, and his meat offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering, and all the blood of the sacrifice, and the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. Right? So King Ahaz, he took this altar and began to sacrifice, right? How we supposed to sacrifice unto our God. He began to sacrifice on this goddamn heathen's altar, right? In a manner of the heathen, right? So basically, he bastardized the customs of the children of Israel at that time to be like the goddamn heathens, because we were saved in battle by these heathens that he had to pay, right? Verse 16. Thus did Urijah the priest according to all that King Ahaz commanded, right? Now watch what this evil bastard does. Verse 17. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases and removed the laver from off them, and took down the sea from off the basin oxen that were underneath it, and put it upon a pavement of stones. Now, when you understand what King Ahaz is doing, King Ahaz is stripping the temple of certain ornaments that was made by brass, right? That was made with brass, right? He basically is taking the wealth out of the temple now. He already paid this goddamn heathen with money that was in the temple. Now he's taking down the designs and the decorations of the temple, right? Verse 18. And the cupboard for the Sabbath that they had built in the house, and the king's entry without, turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria, right? Now, he took all of these decorations and glorious ornaments that we built up for the house of the Lord, and he gave it to these goddamn heathens, right? He gave it all to the heathens. He started tearing stuff off the wall. Oh, this is brass. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to king to the king of the Assyrians. Oh, I see this. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take this down and give this to him too, right? I'm gonna drop down to St. Kings, the 17th chapter now. Let's get into the 17th chapter. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hosea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel. Now, Salakia, 9 years. Now, we just talked about King Ahab, right? Ahaz, right, was the king, which was the king over the children of Judah in the southern kingdom. Now let's get into this northern kingdom, right? Because like we just read, this northern kingdom made a league with the Syrians, right? And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. So this king did evil in the sight of the Lord. He ain't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. He followed after the custom of these heathens too, right? Verse 3. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hosea became his servant and gave him presents, right? So Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against the northern kingdom, right? And the king at that time, right, Hosea, he began to be a servant to these Assyrian kings, right? Now watch what happened. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore, the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Man, would you look at that? Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10 comes into mind once again. Never trust thine enemies. right? The Lord tells us to never trust our enemies or never to become one and build a league with our enemies, because once you do this, your enemies are going to expect something from you. And when you don't uphold that bargain, you're going to see how evil and wicked they get against you, and you're going to see how much they hate you, right? And that's exactly what happened here. Look here, we got King Ahaz, right? King Ahaz is the king over the southern kingdom, right? He makes a league, right, with the children of the Assyrians, right, and the Assyrian king. He make a league with them to fight against his own brothers in the northern kingdom, right? Now, when he makes his league to fight against his own brothers in the northern kingdom, this Assyrian king conquers the northern kingdom, basically, right? As well as the other heathens in the Syrian kingdom that was fighting alongside of the northern kingdom, right? So now, when all is said and done, now the southern kingdom are subject, Salakia, the northern kingdom are subject to the Syrians, to the Assyrians, Salakia. So when this king is demanding his tribute and he don't get it, he gonna put you in captivity. And this is exactly what happened to the northern kingdom. This is how the northern kingdom went into captivity to the Assyrians, right? And when you read in the history of the children of Israel, the southern kingdom eventually go into captivity to the Babylonians, right? Because why? We follow and sacrifice to their gods. You understand? But Salakia, reading on. Verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up through all, Salakia, came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Harbor by the river of Gozan and into the city of the Medes, right? So now, the children of Israel, we won. No matter if we having a civil war with each other and war breaks out with us and we think we two different kingdoms and we fight amongst each other and y'all got a king here and y'all got a king there, the Lord does not deal with us individually. If one of us sin, we all suffer. So what happened is, and the Lord is so prophetic in these scriptures. If you actually look at what's going on, this is what the Lord did. The Lord took the northern kingdom and put them into captivity, right? Our Latino, Native Americans, so-called North American Indians, and so forth and so on. He put them into captivity with who? The Assyrians. King Ahaz was from the southern kingdom. He made a league with the Assyrians. So what happens? The northern kingdom goes into captivity to the same nation that the southern kingdom makes a league with. And then what happens to the northern kingdom? We go into captivity to the Babylonians, right? King Nebuchadnezzar and them. We go into captivity to the Babylonians. You know why? Because the Lord sees no difference in anybody in the children of Israel, right? If one of us sin, we all suffer. Daniel was a righteous man, right? Of course, there was a lot of righteous brothers in the northern and southern kingdom that had to suffer captivity because of our nation going against the Lord. But that don't mean anything. Just like the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans up under Commander General Yohana in this empire, right? We keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? We do exactly what the Lord tells us to do at the mouth of Christ, at the mouth of Commander General Yohana. But meanwhile, we still live behind enemy lines in the land of our captivity. Like this ain't magic. We not just finna get out of hell just because we come to the Lord and we serving the Lord with all our heart, mind, and soul. We loving our brothers as ourselves. Nah, we still have to carry out this punishment that the Lord has bestowed on us. Just like you got brothers and sisters that's actually born into the truth, that's never ate a piece of pork, that ain't never celebrated a holiday, that's never celebrated a birthday. Meanwhile, they still live in the projects. Meanwhile, they still are the product of their fathers, right? And have to deal with being subjected to these other nations because it's not about being an individual when you're dealing with the Lord, right? If one of us come together with these heathens, we all gonna suffer for it. You understand? But I'm gonna drop that. Let's get into the book of First Maccabees, right? Book of First Maccabees. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment. You understand? Salaki. Look at these comments. Yabashim al Shabarakathum to everybody tuning in. Yabashim al Shabarakathum, Officer Shabal, sir. The water for tapping in as usual. Go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, and we're gonna start at verse 11. Right? So you got we went over us being subjected to the Philistines and the Ammonites, which is Asians and Africans, right? And we just went over us being in captivity to the Assyrians, right? Then we went into captivity to the Babylonians and so forth and so on, right? It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow, right? So the Lord said, look, and these times of the Greeks ruling on planet Earth, it went wicked niggas out of the children of Israel that persuaded other children of Israel to actually come together with these heathens, saying that we need to make a league with them. Since we departed from these heathens, we have had much sorrow. And the reason why these brothers feel like they had so much sorrow is because they can't fulfill the lust that they want to feel, right? They can't sleep with these heathen women, right? If you got the nation of Israel on one accord to not be like these goddamn heathens, right? They can't be drug addicts and drug dealers, right? Our women can't be strippers and slaughtering our babies at the tomb to 100,000 a year, right? We can't do none of that if we depart from these goddamn heathens. But these wicked Negroes in the book of First Maccabees, the first chapter, they wanted to make a league with the heathen because they felt like we was in sorrow and in turmoil because we can't fulfill the lust and satisfy these demons that we have on us. You understand? Salakia. Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward in that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathens, right? So this device pleased these wicked Israelites that they could persuade into being like these goddamn heathens, right? And when they was pleased by this, they went to go ask these heathen kings, right, to let them have a license to be able to do whatever the hell they do, right? And what's that license today? Being a police officer, right? Being a Christian pastor. That's a license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. You understand? Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you shouldn't be no goddamn police officer. Because a police officer in America is built off of being a slave catcher. That's the ordinance of a heathen. That's the ordinance of your oppressor. You understand? Like us being ordained ministers and pastors. That's the ordinance of your so-called oppressor, right? The license for you to be a legal drug dealer and indulging in the cannabis business, right? That's the license after the ordinance of the heathen. blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we don't do drugs in our culture. We don't get high in our culture. We don't grow psychedelic drugs to be in a twilight zone and summons demons and enchantments in our culture. That's not what we about. We are righteous people, thus saith the Lord. Our law, statutes, and commandments in this holy Bible speak about us not getting high. You understand? Us not raping children, us not being drug dealers, us not oppressing our brothers and sisters with excessive taxes, right? This is what's going on in our scriptures that we have to uphold that the Lord gave us. Those is the license of the those is the license of the ordinance of the heathens when you want to be a legal drug dealer and own a cannabis club, right? The license of the ordinance of the heathens when you want to be a professional pimp and you own a escort service, right? Or you own a goddamn strip club, right? Where traumatized women have been raped since they was kids can come in there and you can benefit and make money off of them being destroyed as little children. That's the license of the ordinance of a goddamn heathen. And that's what these wicked niggas in the book of First Maccabees wanted to do. So I get for my language, right? Reading on, verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. And this place of exercise at Jerusalem, this is a gymnasium, right? The word gymnasium, I can't remember the original definition of it, but a gymnasium is something that the Greeks set up, right, for them to have fun doing these Greek games and this borderline homosexual activity by them indulging in certain games and stuff and doing this while they was naked, right? While they had no clothes on because this is the custom of the heathen, right? When you look at the Olympics and sports in America, right? The Olympics and sports in America is about them putting you in the most skimpiest clothing items because it's illegal for you to be naked in public these times. But back in the times of the Greeks ruling, you could walk around butt naked and wouldn't nobody say anything to you. You understand? Of course, that's not our culture. That's heathen culture. That's the culture of the Greeks. But our people were so encompassed and want to be just like these damn heathens. We built a place of exercise in Jerusalem for us to indulge in these goddamn customs. You understand? And when I the reason why I say goddamn so much is because the Lord does condemn all of these actions that the children of Israel have been indoctrinated to participate in. You understand? The Lord has damned these damn actions, right? Reading on, verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. Like we made ourselves uncircumcised in our minds and physically. We stopped circumcising our sons on the eighth day, how we were supposed to do, because this is the holy covenant, right? We forsook the holy covenant even more when we stopped following the law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord told the children of Israel to live by, right? Verse 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion over two realms, right? So I'm gonna jump down. What Antiochus basically did was not only did he take Jerusalem with the minds of the people, he went down there and physically fought a war with the Egyptians. So these Greeks slid past Jerusalem. Oh yeah, these Negroes is on board. Okay, we see y'all worshiping our God. You got the wicked leaders of your nation and y'all done build a place of exercise. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. We're gonna go ahead and slide past y'all because we see what y'all got going on. Y'all doing exactly what we told y'all to do. Now I'm finna go to Egypt and go mob on Egypt. I'm finna go take Egypt and take everything that they have because I want to reign over two realms, right? This is where the Edomite Cleopatra and her where she descends from. These people. Cleopatra was not a goddamn African. She was a white woman that's a descendant of these so-called Caucasians or Greeks that went down there and smashed on them, right? Dropping down. So like I'm gonna just keep going on. Verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude and with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Now, Ptolemy, right? Ptolemy was a Caucasian man that was in Egypt, and Ptolemy is one of the generals that actually ruled under Alexander the Great, which is the head and the first Caucasian man to actually run planet Earth. Caucasians or Edomites, which the scriptures call them, they never had dominion over the planet Earth before Alexander the Great. If you want to read about that story, you can start in First Maccabees, the first chapter. You can start at verse 1. It names Alexander the Great. I only call him Alexander the Great for educational purposes. We know him as Alexander the Greek or Alexander the goddamn freak because he was a homosexual and weird as hell, just how these Edomites are. But if you want to read about the history of him conquering planet Earth, you start at First Maccabees and Apocrypha chapter 1, right, verse 1. But Ptolemy was one of his generals, right, or if not one of his generals, Salakia, I don't want to be too long winded on it, but Ptolemy was a goddamn heathen. Not only was he a heathen, he wasn't an African. He was a so-called Greek, right? Which the Caucasian man is not a Greek. He stole that from somebody, but that's a whole nother breakdown. Salakia. Verse 18. And made war with Ptolemy, king of Egypt, but Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. So Antiochus, he went down into Egypt with a great big army, elephants, horsemen, right? And he went to go make war with Ptolemy. But Ptolemy was spooked. So he got up out of there like, nah, you can have this, bro. I'm cool. You feel me? Right. Verse 19. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. So it was a successful trip by going down there to go to war with Ptolemy, who reigned over Egypt at this time. So when Antiochus went down there and made war with Ptolemy, yeah, he won that battle and took the great cities of Egypt, right? And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof, and the table of shewbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crowns and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessel. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proud. Man, look, Antiochus, right? He went to Jerusalem after he took Egypt, right? And he robbed us blind. He robbed us blind, right? And the reason why he was able to come into our sanctuary and rob us blind, because these wicked men of the children of Israel, right? Which you go up in verse 11 and read about, these wicked men basically gave them the authority to rule over us by saying we should come together with these goddamn heathens and do what they do, right? The Lord is going to put you in captivity to who you want to be like. You want to serve these heathens? The Lord is literally going to make you serve them in ways that you never thought was possible. You want to come together with these heathens? Like we want to be like Greeks and Romans? Well, the Greeks and Romans are going to rape, rob, and murder you and slaughter you because you have done so wicked against the Lord that the Lord is going to punish you at the hands of these heathens that you want to be like, that you want to come together and build a league with. The Lord is going to give you exactly what you want, even more. Oh, you want to serve these heathens? Yeah, I got you. I'm going to send a wicked heathen against y'all, and he's going to slaughter you. He's going to rob you blind. I'm going to read that again. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. When Antiochus came to Jerusalem after he took Egypt, he took all of our treasures out of our temple. And he made a massacre out of our people. And then on top of that, he went back to his kingdom and spoke proudly of what the hell he did to the children of Israel. Right? He like, man, look, I just took Egypt, and then them Israelites, the ones that want to serve us, yeah, I went over there and did a number on them dudes too. That's the Lord giving you what you want, Israel. Right? Reading on. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel and every place where they went. Right? So, because these wicked men wanted to make a league with these heathens, right? These heathens slaughtered us, robbed us, right? Then went home and spoke proudly to what the hell he did to us. And then what it say? It says therefore there was great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, right? It was great mourning. The children of Israel, we was in sorrow at that time. We was sighing and crying and dying, right? Verse 26. So that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women were changed. Man, that boy. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna break that down slowly. So that the princes and elders mourned. The princes, the brothers who had a high social status in among the children of Israel were in mourning. Right? That's just like, all right. Let's look at the who the so-called princes of Israel today, according to American society. Allen Iverson, LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? All of these young entertainers and athletes and young people with money that's of nobility. Imagine them just sitting back sighing and crying, right? Because their oppressor did us so wrong when they made a league with this goddamn oppressor, right? Uh, and the elders mourned. Our elders mourned. Like that's Reverend Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. Imagine if they were sitting back just sighing and crying, right? Imagine if the devil didn't give them the money that they had, right? Right? Because they sold out the children of Israel for their own lustful gain, right? Imagine these older elders mourning, right? Right? In every place where they were. You got our whole nation mourning at this time. Why? Because we wanted to be like these goddamn heathens. We wanted to marry ourselves unto them and deal with their politics and indulge in their customs and their way of life. So in turn, The Lord allowed these goddamn heathens to pillage us, to murder us, to rob us, to put us in a docile state, right? The virgins and the young men were made feeble, right? Our young sisters and our young men was made feeble. They was made weak, right? And the beauty of women was changed. Didn't no sister want to put on her glorious dress and her nice bonnet and head wrap? They was walking around in sackcloth, mourning for what happened to the children of Israel, mourning for what happened to our people during the time of us being up under the Greeks. Why? First Maccabees 1 and 11. These wicked Negroes that wanted to make a league with these goddamn heathens, right? Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, once again, never trust thine enemy. This is why the Lord telling you don't trust your enemy. You shouldn't trust your enemy because your enemy is going to show you that he hates you. It's inevitable. He's your goddamn enemy, right? Verse 27, every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. A bridegroom is a man that's about to get married to a woman. That's supposed to be a happy and glorious time of your life. Like Black, Latino, and Native American men, you understand what it means to have a nice, beautiful young lady that's going to be yours forever, and you first getting to meet her, and this is going to be your wife. That's a glorious, joyous time for the men, right? But the Lord said, every bridegroom took up lamentation, right? And she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. A woman that's sitting in the marriage chamber, a woman that's sitting to consummate her marriage, to actually bear children one day, to have this man that's going to love and protect her, to have somebody that she's going to spend the rest of her life with. This is supposed to be a joyous, glorious time, right? But it says, she that in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. Our sister was in heaviness. It was weight on our sister's shoulders. Man, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. Will I bear children? Is our life gonna get back to normal? Are we going to be the people that we supposed to be, or are we just going to be into servitude to these goddamn heathens? They keep slaughtering us and murdering us, right? Verse 28, the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion, right? Why was we covered with confusion? We came to agreement with these goddamn heathens. And let's make a league with them. Let's do what they do. Let's become one people with these goddamn Greeks. We did all of this. We trusted in our goddamn enemies. And then we turned around and our enemies robbed us and slaughtered us. So niggas is walking around confused like, bro, why is this happening? Where did we go wrong? Why do they hate us? That's confusion. We gave our heart to these goddamn heathens, and these heathens showed us that they didn't give a damn about us, but we thought they did. We thought these was our friends. We thought these was the people that was going to love us forever. And when it backfired on us, it confused us. Like, damn, why they doing us like that? I can't put my finger on it. Why? Right? Verse 29, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, right? The king, after 2 years, he sent his collector to collect the taxes to the city of Jerusalem, right? Salakia. With a great multitude, with a whole lot of people. Verse 30, and speak peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit. And when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of the children of Israel. Look at that. Never trust your enemy, right? After we've been slaughtered, they took from our damn temple. They murdered us, had our people in mourning, right? Had our people in a confused state of mind. 2 years after he did all of this to us, he sent his chief collector. The chief collector comes to us speaking peaceable words, but it wasn't peace in his heart. In his mind, he wanted to kill us. So after we gave him credence, right? After we gave him the benefit of the doubt, after we gave him trust, what it say he did? It say he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of the children of Israel. This damn heathen killed a whole lot of us after we showed him that we trusted him. After we showed him that we good and obedient servants, he slaughtered us, right? After we paid him all of this goddamn tax money, right? Because these wicked niggas wanted us to be up under these goddamn heathens, they came and murdered us, right? Verse 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and the walls thereof on every side. Not only did he murder us, he took all the spoils from us, he took all the money and the goods from us, and he burnt down our houses. He burnt down our cities. He burnt down the walls of our cities. Now, if y'all go if you familiar with the series called The Last Kingdom, that'll give you somewhat of an idea on how cities was built back then. It wasn't just a big old freeway. Anybody was able to enter into any city at every given time. It was walls around cities to keep intruders out, right? To keep people that want to do harm to that city out. And then you had guards on them in them cities, right? These goddamn heathens burned down our cities and tore down the walls of these cities, right? But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. They took our women and our children and took our cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall and with mighty towers and made it a stronghold for them for them. So they took the tribute from us. You know, first of all, they came into our temple, took everything from us, made a massacre of the children of Israel. Then the king sent his chief collector 2 years later, right, to come collect the money. Then he massacred us again. Then they burnt down our cities and burned down the walls and then built it up to be a stronghold for themselves. Come on, man. Read on. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. Not only did they do all of this, they put their own wicked people to come live in our city. This is gentrification precept, right? They sent they wicked men to come dwell in our cities, right? Salakia. They stored it also with armor and victuals, and when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up, and so they became a sore snare, right? So they took all the treasures of us and basically put them in a big vault, right? In order for them to enjoy, right? They came and smashed on us, mobbed on our whole city, right? For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary and an evil adversary to the children of Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. So they killed our brothers and sisters in our temple, right? And defiled our temple, right? Verse 37. I'm sorry, verse 38. And so, as much that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. So they did all of this manner of evil to us to the point to where we actually left Jerusalem and went to go live somewhere else, and we became strangers to our homeland. Just like today. You got blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans saying, "Oh, I'm from Argentina. Oh, I'm from West Oakland. Oh, I'm from East New York. I'm from Brooklyn. Or I'm from North Philly. You understand? I'm from 63rd, right? I'm from Compton. I'm from Watts. I'm from the Magnolia Projects. Nigga, we strangers to our own goddamn nation because we trusted into these goddamn enemies. We trusted into these heathens. Therefore, you think you from O Block. Therefore, you a blood or a crip or a GD or a vice lord. Therefore, you think you from Third Ward Magnolia and them little project building apartments is what you call home, and that's your goddamn hood. That's what happened to the children of Israel when we trust in our enemies. We in a Western hemisphere, right? Never seen our homeland, right? Never knows. We don't know how glorious it is to live in the land of the Lord that He gave to us. But we fighting over colors. We fighting over blacks in the ghetto in America, right? We think we from Brazil. You think you a Jamaican or a Haitian. You got brothers wearing Haitian flags. When Haiti was set up by the French, right? Our brothers and sisters in Haiti had to fight these goddamn oppressors. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for that strong nation of them Levites to actually come up against the oppressor. You understand? And be independent from them. Even though it's hell, right? It's hell. We going through all trials and tribulations in Haiti, right? Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere because we fought against our goddamn oppressors, right? That's more courage than you goddamn Christians got. That's more courage than you goddamn Muslims got. Muslims be talking about the so-called white man is the devil. Meanwhile, these niggas is dressed like them in suits and selling bean pies in 105-degree weather and sending brothers out there to give them newspaper while they got the Richie Rich part in their hair and shave their goddamn face so they can look like a mother effing child. Somebody. Verse 39. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feast was turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt, right? Everything that's glorious about the children of Israel, everything that's glorious about our homeland, it got flipped upside down. We went from being a joyous people to being a people of mourning. We went from celebrating the Sabbath and all our high holy days to just sitting back devastated on these days that we were supposed to rejoice, right? Salakia. Uh, and had been Salakia, as had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. We had glory in the land of Israel. We had glory in celebrating these high holy days. We had glory into being given unto marriage to our own people. But that turned into mourning. That turned to us feeling like we have no hope. That turned to us looking at life like, why am I here? What is this all about? You understand? Like, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for the men in the ISUBK that sigh and cry for the children of Israel. Because I'm damn near getting choked up and teary-eyed behind what I'm actually reading. And I meditate on these scriptures all the time. These ain't my first time reading these scriptures, but it's so heartbroken to understand that I come from a glorious people. I come from people that actually are supposed to run planet Earth. But since we got wicked niggas that want to be like these goddamn heathens, Now I had to grow up in the hood. I had to suffer poverty and oppression, jail, prison, parents on drugs, friends getting murdered, cousins, jail, prison, aunties, uncles on drugs, family members getting murdered. Right? It's it's traumatizing to actually grow up the same way that you see over and over and over through these scriptures when your people do not want to obey the Lord. You understand? I'm gonna drop that. Let's get a couple more scripts and then I'm gonna end the class, right? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39 and verse 23. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, right? Help us push this truth because the children of Israel need to hear this. We need to understand where we going wrong. All your Christian pastors keep telling you, oh, we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and you got to get up there and you got to get out there and get something. Nah, man, you need to come into the ISUBK up under command of General Yana and change your ways. Christ was talking about being born again. You can't come back through your mother's womb again. When he said be born again, you gotta become a new person. You gotta become a brother that don't like whores. You gotta become a brother that don't want to smoke weed. You gotta become a sister that don't want to be a whore. You gotta become a sister that does not want to abort your child because you want to have a hot girl summer. Because you want to go get a college education, you cannot abort your child. You have to come into the mind frame of pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. It's disgusting, and that is not what my people do. Brothers, we got to come back into wearing these headpieces, these mitris. You know what I'm saying? Coming to class, right? Forsaking all of your lusts for the benefit of your nation. You understand? But Salaki, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39 and verse 23. And all the heathens shall know the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. All these heathens know that the children of Israel are going to go into captivity for our iniquity. Right? Thus saith the Lord. Meaning this. If we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, how the Lord intended us to do and live by, we are going into captivity to these heathens. You understand? Read on. And furthermore, the heathens know it. Your oppressor know goddamn well you going into slavery to him if he tells you pork is the other white meat every goddamn commercial. If he give you a new Baconator cheeseburger and advertising it with some skinny blonde blue-haired white woman for you to go eat this goddamn burger, he knows you're going to be up under his feet, right? Because they trespass against me. We trespass against the Lord when we deal with these other nations, when we marry these heathen women, when our sisters marry these heathen men. When you have something like a hot girl summer or a Plan B song, right? When you being a whore, a drug dealer, right? When you being a goddamn Christian worshiping a white Jesus and not loving your own goddamn people, man, we gonna be into captivity. If it wasn't for Commander General Yohana and the ISUBK, we would be in captivity forever, right? We would be in captivity forever, right? Salakia. Therefore, hid I my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies, so they fell by the sword. The Lord has hid his face from the children of Israel and gave us into the hand of the enemy, and we fell by the sword. Why? It says it right here at the top of the 23rd verse. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. We go and we are slaughtered, beat, you know what I'm saying? Trampled down on by these goddamn heathens because of our iniquity. because of us going against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. For us wanting to be like you goddamn heathens. For us wanting to be like the Asian man, right? For us wanting to be like the so-called Tongan and Samoan man. For us accepting them as being the same people as us. For us accepting them to be like us. For us making a league with them. For us marrying their sons and daughters. For us eating what they eat. Us dressing how they dress. Us talking how they talk, right? For us worshiping their gods, right? For you celebrating for you celebrating Easter, 4th of July, for you doing all these abominable things that the heathens do, the Lord said, uh, uh, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespass against me. Be, therefore, Salakia, I hid my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So they fell, Salakia, so fell they by the sword. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them and hid my face from them. We are in captivity to heathens because we want to do what heathens do. You die from monkeypox because you're a homosexual. You get lung cancer because you smoke weed, right? You get murdered in a drug deal going bad because you're a drug dealer, right? We get slaughtered because of the iniquity that we indulge in, right? And that's justice. According to what the Lord says, that is justice. The Lord is a man of war. You want to go to war with the Lord by us going against the law, statutes, and commandments? All these heathens are going to be the rulers over you. These heathens are going to be the ones that oppress you since you want to be like them so goddamn much. The Lord has given us up to these goddamn heathens. And the children of Israel, we need to wake up and understand that you are holy and separate from these heathens. You wouldn't be in captivity if you didn't want to be like your oppressor. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shabbat Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Thun Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Israel, wake up, man. This is something that we have to understand. The Lord is not dealing with the children of Israel as a whole because we want to deal with the gods of these other nations. Soon as we wake up and figure out that we're not supposed to be like them, that we holy and separate, the Lord is going to have respect unto the children of Israel and start moving in our favor. With that being said, shalom, Israel.